to join. And Mandira, welcome. Go to my gallery. Srinamala, hello again. Sorry, the sun has just started to come across my screen. Give me one moment. Right, so we're starting this time on the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 3. I will just share screen with you and then call it up. Share screen, share. Three New Years, Shuli and Kath, Sanyu, welcome. Right, so you should have the shared screen. Do you all see the shared screen? Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Klaibyam masmagamah partha naitat vayupapadyate Udram hridaya daurbalyam Tyatvutishta parantapa. Bit of a tongue twister. I'll try again. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam Tyatvutishta parantapa. Masmagamaha. It could equally have been written as said as ma gacha. Do not go. This is the sma, by the way, is a kind of a particle that doesn't add anything here. Could equally be ma gamaha or ma gacha. This is a grammatical construction, a negative imperative. I won't go into the detail of it now, but basically it is the aorist, which is one of the past tenses. You have gone. One of the ways of saying you have gone is agamaha. And you can make a negative imperative by using the aorist form, but without the a in front, so magamaha. It's a slightly complex formation, which I won't go into detail on now, but it just means do not go. And it's the equivalent of ma gacha. The ordinary imperative go from gum, you have gum, gachati, imperative would be gacha, and you make a negative imperative with the prefix ma gacha. But as I say, can also be done with the unaugmented aorist. So I'll deliberately avoid going into the detail of that now, otherwise we'll be spending the entire hour on aorists. So do not go. If in English we say do not be weak, in Sanskrit, you can say, do not go to weakness. Do not give yourself over to weakness. So it is, do not go to weakness. This is klaibium. There is an adjective, kliba, which means impotent, weak, useless. And this is one of these formations. It's the vridhi derivative from it. So standard way of doing it, we can make an abstract noun out of it. Kliba, vridhi of e is a, and instead of the final a, you have a, so klaibia, adjective kliba, abstract noun klaibia, kliba, weak, impotent, klaibia, weakness or impotence.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Greville.
Hello, James.
Yeah, I'm just in the middle of a Zoom teaching now. I'll call you back at three when I've finished.
Okay, thanks. I'll ring on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry about that. Also, another word I'm going to give you right now is because it's formed in the same way, and a much commoner word is Daurbalyam, which I've highlighted here, Daurbalyam, which I shall explain. We've got the word Daurbalyam is a more general and far commoner word meaning weakness. We have the word bala, meaning strength. And if we put dur in front of it, which is the same as dush and duhas and dukkha by Santi Durbala, dur normally has the idea of badness or wrongness, but it can also have the meaning of a lack. So if you're durbala, means you're lacking in strength. So not just bad strength, but lacking in strength. Durbala. So we translate that as weak. Now, we can make an abstract noun, the vridhi noun, in exactly the same way. Vridhi, the first vowel is u, so make that into dau. And the final syllable is an a, turn that into ya. So durbala, weak, daurbalya, weakness. I'll give you. So were you saying something, Shinamala?
Yes. Durlabha is in our language is rare in Sinhala.
I'm sorry, your sound is coming through a little bit blurred.
Yeah. Yeah, our internet is not good. Durlabha is a rare.
Oh, sorry, so durlabha.
Yeah.
Okay, durlabha would mean durbala. There's durlabha.
This is durlabha, yeah, durlabha.
Durlabha, from the root lab, meaning to get. Durlabha would mean difficult to obtain.
Difficult to get it, yes.
And therefore rare. Like, for example, this human life, durlabham, is like a rare opportunity. So superficial similarity between the two verbs, but they are different. So two words wrong, two verbs. So durbala, incidentally, durbala, it comes into Latin as debilis, meaning weak, as in debilitating, something that weakens you. Durbala, and into Latin is debilis. I'll give you another example of these vridhi derivatives. By the way, I shall shortly, I hope, have prepared a special video thing on the gradations of our guna and vriddhi and the way that words are formed from them, to save me having to go through it each time. So let's take a word. Mahatma. So this is from Maha Atma. Maha, great, Atma, soul. And then it's used also as an honorific title, Mahatma, as in Mahatma Gandhi, of course, Gandhi of the great soul. And I think am I right, Sri Namala, you have a similar word in Sinhala, Mahataya. Mahataya meaning
Yes,
sir.
Mahatya is yes, a gentleman.
Okay, right. It's derived from that same word. So Mahatma in Sanskrit, it became Mahataya in modern Sinhala. Anyway, Mahatma it's a compound adjective, means having a great soul, the quality of having a great soul. Now, we can make an abstract noun out of that, which we could say in English is great souledness, the quality of having a great soul. What do we do? Vridhi, the first vowel, ma, and for the last syllable, replaced by ya. So mahatmya is then the abstract noun, meaning the quality of having a great soul. So you will see this very frequently in Sanskrit. We've seen it on three verbs: kliba, klaibya, durbala, daurbalya, mahatma, mahatmya. I'll give you another example. Kushala, which is a word very much used it's much more common in Pali actually than Sanskrit. It exists in Sanskrit. Kushala, generally meaning, in the broad sense, meaning good, but in Buddhist terminology, more specifically, like morally good, that which is conducive to living the life in the Dharma. Kushala, the Kushala and Akushala. And in Pali, it's exactly the same, but as usual, Pali doesn't have a sh sound because it comes as s, kusala. And one greeting you can give in, for example, in Sanskrit is kushalante, good be upon you, like the Australian, good on you, Kaba, good on you, kushalante. Now,
how do you spell that, James, please? Kushanante?
I'm sorry, say again?
How would you spell Kushanante, please?
Oh, right. So I'm going to write it down here. So kushalam, using the neuter form there, and te, to thee, like namaha, and then namaste. This is the same, kushalante, te meaning to thee, in the singular form, kushalante. So written with the anuswaras, the subdotted m, but pronounced as a n because of the following te. So you write kushalam anuswara te, but you pronounce kushalante because the following te. Now, let us make a vriddhi derivative noun out of this, kushala. It is predictably going to be vriddhi of u is au. So kaushalya means like the moral quality of goodness. So kushala, kaushalya. And for the Pali students among you, you can make the same, you can do the same in Pali, but bearing in mind three things as you go along. Firstly, Pali doesn't have an au, so it becomes ko. Pali doesn't have a sh, so it becomes just a s. And this consonant cluster l, yeah, becomes just a double L. So kushala, kusala, abstract nouns, kaushalya, and Kosala. So Kosala in Pali is the same as the Kaushalya in Sanskrit. So bear this well in mind, because you see it again and again and again how these abstract nouns are formed by the vriddhi plus ya out of adjectives.
James, just in passing, the greeting namaste, what does the namas part of it mean?
Oops. It's from the, sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with the iPad today. It's not getting cleaner. It's from the root nam, meaning simply to bend. By extension, it then means to bow, because you, as it were, bending the body or inclining either the head forward or inclining the whole body forward. Therefore, it means a bending, therefore in the sense of offering reverence to something.
To you.
Right. Now, there are several roots where you can make a verbal noun with in as. So you get namas. You also, for example, get manas, tapas. There are several vachas. There's a series of nouns that do that. So namas, on its own, the final S becomes visarga, namaha. However, by the rules of Sandhi, if it's the visarga, so visarga followed by t comes back to a s. So you don't say namaste, you say namaste. That's by the regular rule of Sandhi in Sanskrit. Now remember, another rule of Sandhi, the visarga, the aha visarga, becomes o before a following voiced consonant. That's why you can say, for example, you can say either namaste, or you can just repeat the word. But you don't say namah namah, it becomes namo namaha, namo namaha, which you just say namah twice. So namaste or namo namaha. So this is all the difference in namaha, namas, and namo. It's all the same word, but by the influence of Sandhi, the rules of Sandhi, euphonic combination, that either ends in as or aha or o, but all the same word.
That's great. Thank you, James. Thanks.
And you also find the same from the root tap, meaning heat. It's actually cognate, this root tap, with the Latin tepidus, which we have in English as tepid, whereas in modern English, tepid, talk about tepid water, I mean slightly warm, not hot. In fact, the old root means hot. And indeed, in the Slavonic language or Russian, the word tyop, same as tep, is the word for hot. Tyoply means hot. So tap means heat. And it makes a verbal noun, tapas. Not to be confused with the tasty eats you get in Spanish bars. Now, this is the tapas of meaning literally heat, but it's the word used for austerity, almost like bearing the heat of the day. And also it's been interpreted as the kind of inner tapas, the inner heat that you generate, and there are two interpretations for it.
And does tapasya come about as well?
I'm sorry, say it again, I didn't catch well.
Does tapasya also exist?
It did indeed. That's from the same root. Let me just call that up on Moni Williams for you. So there's tapas. Okay, let's just give it bit by bit. I'm just hang on, highlight off. I like that name. Search again. There we are. So tap. By the way, tap is both a transitive and an intransitive verb. It can mean to heat something up as a transitive verb, or to be hot, give out heat as an intransitive. And also to consume or destroy by heat, and then by extension, to suffer pain. And it's those who willingly put those through pain and discomfort on the spiritual path. That is tap. Now, we can make a verbal noun out of it. Tapas, warmth or heat. And pain, suffering, and then austerity, bodily mortification. Now we can make a derivative verb from it, tapasya. So there we get, that's the one that you mentioned, Paula, tapasyati, to undergo or austerities. Incidentally, you do have several derivative verbs like this. For example, let me just give you another example. From nam, meaning to bend and then to offer reverence to. It can make two verbs. For example, buddham namami. Namami is just the regular verb. I offer reverence to the Buddha. Buddham namami. Identical that phrase in Sanskrit and Pali. Now, also we have the namas. As in namaste, namo namaha. And just as you can have tapas, which is a noun, but then you can make a verb on the back of that noun, tapasyati, the tapati or tapasyati. Equally, from the noun namas, you can make a verb namasyati. Oops. Sorry, my iPad's playing up a bit again. Here we are. Namasyati. So you can equal, so there's one of the chants, Buddham Abhivademi, and then Dhamman Namasami in Pali. That's Dhamman Namasyami in Sanskrit. So Namasyami and Namami are both equally valid forms. But just remember, Namasyami is a verb formed from the noun, which is itself formed from the verb root. Hope you've got that. So normal sequence, verb root nam, verb namami, I venerate, nam, derivative of noun namas, but then a derivative verb from the noun namasyami. And namami, namasyami, they both mean essentially the same thing. It's a bit like in English. You've got the verb to revere, and then you have the noun reverence. But you can actually use reverence as a verb. And the same kind of thing happens in Sanskrit. Namami, namasyami. I hope that's not all too obscure. I appreciate it might be somewhat obscure. And what am I looking for?
James, can I ask two questions, please?
Yes, please do, Paula.
So, what's the difference between namasyami and namasyati?
Namasyami
Yes.
is just so between namasyami and namasyati.
Yes.
Namasyami is simply the first person singular. I give reverence, whereas namasyati is the third person. He or she. Go. Like gachami, gachasi, gachati.
Okay.
Mm.
And one more, namo namaha, as in similar to namaste. What's the explanation between using the same word twice?
Well, they just do.
Okay.
You can say either namaste or namo namaha. It's just a way of doing it. It's just a manner of speaking, really.
Okay. So like saying hello, hello instead of just hello.
That kind of thing, yes. To me, I mean, Mandira, can you help us here? And in modern Hindi, you say namaste, but would you commonly say to people namo namaha?
No, not at all. We just say namaste,
Okay, right.
or namaskar,
Or namaskar, yes.
namaskar or namaste. These are the two usually spoken words.
Okay, right. I've sometimes seen people use in writing namo namaha, but anyway, so the normal way of doing it among Hindi speakers just you say namaste or namaskar. Okay, right.
In writing, I do come across namo namaha,
Hmm.
or in people.
So your sound again is coming through very faint.
Is it better now?
Very slightly better. I think there's something at your end that the sound isn't coming through correctly. Well, we had this problem last week as well. Before that has been perfect, but just last week and this we have a problem.
Maybe it's my laptop which is getting older now.
Oh, okay. So there we are. That explains nam namati, namas, namo namaha, namaste, namami, namasyami. So let me get back to the.
Can I ask something?
Yes, please do.
So it may not have any connection with the word tap or tap, but I was just thinking about the word paschatap.
Yeah, it is the same, meaning remorse, regret for what you've done.
Yes, but does it have the root tap in it?
It is, yes. It is the same word. You're right there. Paschatapa. Paschat means afterwards.
Yes.
So you have it's like burning afterward, after burning. So the burning is here in the sense of suffering pain. You do something wrong, and afterwards you remember what you have done. You remember the wrong you have done, and you suffer pain afterwards. That's the paschatapa. It's the pain that you suffer through the painful memory, the remorsefulness at what you've done. So you're right, Mandira. It is that same word.
So pain is equated with tap, or the burning that goes on in one's heart.
It is indeed, yes. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It is exactly that.
Thank you.
Let me just see if I can call up. Let's see if. There we are. Pashatapa, after pain, sorrow, regret, repentance. There we are.
Can you pronounce it, James, just once, please? Pashatapa.
It's Paschatapa. Paschatapa. It's from Paschat, after, cognate actually with the Latin posterior or English posterior, the back afterwards, post, after. Then Paschat means afterwards, so Paschatapa. So you've got to get the long R and also the double T. Paschatapa, Paschatapa. So here we are. Klaibyam masmagamaha. Literally, do not go to weakness. Partha, as the vocative O Partha. That's the son of Pritha. Naikatvayupapadyate. So upapadyate literally means go up to. Upapad, go up to. But it means also in a moral sense, it is unbecoming, it's unsuitable, not worthy of you. And it takes the locative. So na, here I've parsed it out, na etat tvayi upapadyate. So etat, this, in other words, what you're doing now, showing weakness, na does not, upapadyate, suit will be becoming, it's not suitable for you. So like improper conduct on your part. And it takes the locative tvayi, locative in you. So by the normal rules of sandhi, which we see operating here, tvayi, in you, upapadyate, we've got a word ending in an I that I've just highlighted here, where the cursor is, followed by u, so that I, the final vowel I, has to become a y because of the following u, and that creates a double y. That's tvai. You see here, tvai upapadyate. We pronounce it doubly. Tvai upapadyate, tvai upapadyate. So we've got quite a bit of sandhi going on here. Remember the a followed by an e. By sandhi it becomes I. There's naitat, and the naitat tvayupapadyate.
James, a few weeks ago, we learned the word utpadyata, to arise or come into existence. Is that a related word to this one?
It is indeed related. Let me just give you iPad. Thank you for calling it up. I was, in fact, if I'd remembered myself, I would have dealt with it. So we have the utpad is a far more common word, and it just means arising. We have it, for example, in the utpada, mean the arising of something. We have the dependent co-origination, which in Pali is praticca samuppada. In Sanskrit, pratitya samutpada. That's the same utpada. Let me just call up the upapad in Moni Williams. So upapad. So the basic meaning of the root of the root pad is to go, and the upa means it's the same as the English word up. Actually, means up or towards. So here upapad padyate, to go towards, also means to attack. Then to come, to approach, to arrive at, and then to be possible, fit for, or adequate to. And that's the meaning that we've seen here. It's not fitting for you. Literally, it does not go up to you. It does not approach you, but it has the meaning to be fit for. And the word utpad that that Barry has just mentioned is utpad, to arise, originate, to be born. So upa is more towards, and ut means up or out. And there's a certain overlap of meaning, but utpad means to come into being, to arise. Sorry, somebody was.
So I was just asking, so the upapadyate has a negative in front of it to make it non-worthy?
Yeah, it's the negative that I've just highlighted. So na etat tvayi upapadyate.
Okay.
The na is the not, the negative, but it doesn't have to be immediately before the verb. Other words can come in between, as here. So you could equally have said, it could equally have been written, etat tvayi na upapadyate, would have been equally correct. So the na upapadyate, of course, become no upapadyate by Sandhi. But in it's perfectly common and normal for the nat to be separated from its verb by other words. It's perfectly regular. So I say etat tvayi no upapadyate and na etat tvayi upapadyate, both mean the same thing, equally correct. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva uttishta parantapa. So I read it without the sandhi. That's tyaktvuttishta, tyaktva uttishta, tyaktvuttishta. So hridaya daurbalyam, we've just looked at that. We looked at the daurbalyam, durbala, weak, daurbalya, weakness. Hridaya is the word meaning heart. In fact, our English word heart and the Sanskrit hridaya are from the same origin, and the h became a k in both Greek and Latin. So the Greek kardia, heart, as in cardiac, a cardiac arrest, and the Latin cor, cordis, cordial greetings, hearty greetings. So hridaya, kardia, cor, cordis, heart. Russian, for example, serce, they're all from the same origin. So hridaya daurbalyam would mean heart weakness of heart, weakness of spirit, like a moral weakness. But we can understand hridaya daurbalyam, weakness of heart, meaning lack of courage. The kshudram, I've done a note on that. It means small, minute, but it also has the subtext, sub-meaning of mean or petty. In fact, we see the same phenomenon in English, where we have the word petty, which is an anglicized form of petit in French, petit and petty. And petty, and you can have if say in the Navy, for example, a petty officer. There's nothing petty about him, not with petty officers I've seen, nothing petty about them, but it just means a not quite an officer, like a small officer, a petty officer, just junior to a full officer. But also it has that moral sense, if you're petty about something, being like small-minded or mean-minded about something. Now this kshudram, I think here has that same kind of tone about it here, this kind of petty weakness of heart. It's like a moral accusation that Krishna is directing towards Arjuna here. And we have the same in the Karaniya Metta Sutta. Very interestingly, actually, I think. Let me just call that up, get it up for you. Sorry, give me a moment to call this up. In see verse 3 of the Karaniya Metta Sutta, let me enlarge it for you. Nachakuddam samachare kinchi. The kuddam is just the Pali version of kshudram, and this would in Sanskrit would be nacha kshudram samacharet kinchit. It's almost the same. Nacha kuddam samachare kinchi, nacha kshudram samacharet kinchit in Sanskrit. So it's often translated as let one samacharet, samacharati means to to commit something, it means to do, and then, but more to commit, let one not commit to, commit oneself to, often translated as the slightest thing. But it can also have this meaning in Pali as well. Do not engage in anything mean or petty. Rather than do not do the slightest thing that you might be blamed for, don't behave in a petty manner, which I think is much more of a moral message to it. So you've got the khuddam there. Again, this is the Pali form of the kshudram here in Sanskrit. So tyaktva, from the root, so having abandoned, from the root tyaj, meaning to leave or to abandon. Let me just give me iPad again. Come on, iPad. There we are. It's a new page. The tyaj means to abandon something or to just to leave it, abandon it. It makes a verbal noun, tyaga, tyaga often has the meaning of renunciation in a spiritual, moral sense. In Pali, as you'd expect, normally the tya becomes a ch. So in Pali, it is chaga, tyaga, chaga. Note here, as we so often see, that where the root has a j, tyaj, the verbal noun has a g. And the most common example we all know from that is the root yuj, verbal noun yoga. We all know yuj, to join, yoga meaning union, junction. In fact, cognate with the Latin word jungere and the French joindre and English word join. These are cognate words. Tyaktva is the absolutive form, meaning having done something. So tyaj plus tva, tyaj tva, because you can't have a j and a t in Sanskrit, so that by internal sandhi, that becomes tyaktva. So having abandoned, just abandoning. So hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva, abandoning weakness of heart. Stand up. Uttishta parantapa. You are. I'll explain parantapa in a moment. Tyakt, so here by Santik and tyaktva uttishta, having abandoned, stand up. When you get two or more verbs in sequence, it could have been said, it could have been uttishta is the imperative. This also could have been said tyaja, abandon, uttishta cha, abandon and stand up. But far more commonly than not in both Sanskrit and Pali, where you get a sequence of verbs, all being verbs of the same subject, the last one you put in its regular form, whatever you want it to be, a present, imperative, past, but the ones before it, you just put into the absolutive form. Which also you would do in Hindi as well. I'm aware of the story of somebody who was in a restaurant, was brought food, a meal that was cold, and the angry diner said, "Usko lekar garm karke lao." So usko lekar garm karke lao. In English, we say, take it away, heat it up, and bring it back. But in Hindi, usko lekar garam karke, the lekar karke is the same as the form in toi in Sanskrit. Usko lekar, having taken it, garam karke, having made it warm, lao, bring. So even in modern Hindi, you have that same, you have a sequence of verbs, is kar, and then the last verb is the main verb. And you have exactly the same here in Sanskrit, tyaktva uttishta, having abandoned. In English, we say, abandon your weakness of heart and rise up. In Sanskrit, tyaktva, having abandoned the weakness of heart, arise. Uttishta, it's from, give me iPad again. Uttishta, from our wonderful root sta, meaning to stand. What has happened to the, it's uttishta, not uttishta. What has happened? Sorry, let me start that again. This is correct, uttishta. You will know the ut, to stand up. Ut meaning out or up.
Could you please show the iPad?
Sorry, thank you. Far from being shy about reminding me, the prize goes to the person who does remind me about the iPad. So I'm going to write an deliberately incorrect form. We've got star, no, ut star, but you can't say ut star. There's a rule that where you get a s between two stops, between two t's, it disappears. That's why you get utta, to stand up. Now the verb star is what's known as a reduplicating verb. So you don't say stami or stayami or something. You say tishtami, tishtati. It just reduplicates the first syllable slightly irregularly. There's a small number of verbs that does that. So tishta is just stand, and uttishta, stand up. Parantapa. We were talking about the root tap, to burn. So para means other, means several things, but other is one of them. It also means the other, meaning your enemy. So parantapa, the enemy burner, the burner of your enemies. So here we have that same root tap that we were discovering earlier, that we were discussing rather earlier. So enemy burner. It's one of the epithets of Arjuna. You know, an invincible warrior, somebody who burns up his enemies. And this is the vocative form, parantapa. In the nominal, it would be parantapa, but just vocative, addressing him, parantapa. So, glaubyan masmagamah pata naita vayupapadyate kshudrang hridaya daurbalyan tyaktvottishta parantapa. So before we go on to the recitations, were there any comments or queries, either now or if you can't think of them now, later is fine as well. Yes, please, Mandira. I hope I'll be able to hear you.
Yes. Am I audible?
It's still faint, but just about.
Okay. So you spoke about parantapa
Mm-hmm.
means other burner or foe destroyer.
Yes, yeah.
It reminds me of the word parakrama.
Parashrama.
Parakrama. Parakram.
Parashram.
Parakram.
Paratram.
Kram. Kram.
Mm-hmm.
Parakram. Parakram.
Paratram. What is paratram?
It's a K, Parakram.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
And also the word parajit.
Parajit. Okay. Actually, this, I think I'm right in saying that this is from a different prefix, para. Not para, but para, meaning going beyond, going forth. Parakram means stepping out. Let me just call up Moni Williams on this point. Oh, here we are. Yeah, so marching forward or advancing, and then by extension, you're brave, you don't hold back, you march forward into danger. But this is with a para. Let me just call up para. Yeah, it would be, it's from the same root, para. Sorry, look at para. Sorry, where are we? Come on. Param. It is a variant of para. Here we are, yeah, para as a prefix, this para, away or off, is from the same origin as para, but it treated as a different word. And is okay from the Latin. Is okay. Here we are. It occurs only in param and para as a prefix to nouns and verbs. So it's probably akin. So yeah, likely from the same origin, but treated as a different verb. Parakram. I think the word also means parakram. Would it mean brave or bold in Hindi?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, right. In other words, stepping forwards. You're not holding back, but parakramati, steps forward into the fight.
Does then Parabrahma, beyond?
That is the para with a short up. Parabrahma means the ultimate Brahma. You have the Paratman as well. Let me para.
So it's the short.
The para. Let me see if Muni Williams gives it here. Oh, Parabrahma, not found. Let me look at. So here we have the Paratman, which is the Para-Atman, the further, the beyond the Para-Atman, Paratma in the nominative, is the supreme spirit.
Doesn't it come as Paramatman? It doesn't have an M sometimes in there.
Yes, there are two separate words. There's Paratman, and also I think you're right. I think it's probably more common to say Paramatman. So para is a word meaning beyond, pa or beyond. It makes a superlative form parama, meaning furthest. In fact, para and the English word far and parama and English furthermost are cognate. So paramatma, the parama, that which is furthest, therefore supreme. So the paramatma is the supreme atma. But you're right there, Paula. You can have paratman and also I think more commonly you're right, paramatman. But effectively with the same meaning but expressed in two slightly different ways.
And so the long A on the para is just some form of.
That is sandhi from para atman, where the a and the a coalesce by sandhi into a. So paratma, and the same with parama atman become paramatman. That's just regular sandhi there. Also, some of you might be puzzled by this word parantapa. The normal rule is where you have compound words, only in a samasa in Sanskrit, putting together a compound, only the last is declined, the rest appear in their stem form. So you would expect to see paratapa, not parantapa, because paran there is put in the accusative. The answer to that is mostly, in the vast majority of cases. Let me call up the iPad again. Here we are. Oops. In the great majority of cases, you have para other plus tapa burner, other burner, para tapa. And that's how it normally happens. In some words, where the relationship between the two words is one of an accusative, the burner of others, one who burns others, occasionally you will find it declined in the accusative, even though it's a compound, and that accounts to parantapa. That is just a relatively small number of words that have it. So, for example, iPad is giving me a problem today. I'm trying to put on rubber eraser. Okay. So duty means light. Dhara from the root dri means holder of light or bearer of light. But as a name, again, you will find it could be Dutidhara, but it becomes Jutindhara, and particularly in Pali, Jutindhara means bearer of light. Lucifer, in other words, but it has a good sense in Sanskrit and Pali, the bearer of light. Indeed, the old meaning of Lucifer, the angel Lucifer, was the Lucifer, the bearer of light, the carrier of light. So hang on, back to where we were.
Is the Parabrahma and Paramatman also accusative forms?
No, in those words, it's the relationship simply of a descriptive adjective followed by the noun. So the para atman, it's like it's adjective noun form. That's known as a karamadharya compound. So there's no relationship of verb to accusative as there is, for example, in he burns his enemy, paran tapati. So the burner of enemies is parantapa. He carries light, dutim dharayati, so dutindhara. But in paratma, that is that a different relationship between the words. It's just adjective plus noun, but put together in one compound. So para atma, paratma. So there's no accusative relationship there. So, time for recitations. Barry, you're first on my screen. Would you care to recite this?
Yeah,
Take it slowly. There are a few tongue
Yeah,
twisters.
the difficult one. Could you magnify it a little bit for me?
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Klaibyam masma gamaha parta naita tvayopapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyak tvotishta parantapa.
Okay, pretty good. Despite all the tongue twisters, that came out pretty well. Just try say more flowingly. Tyaktvatishta. Tyaktvatishta.
Tyak tvotishta.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Lucy, we are round to you.
Yes. Klaibyam masma gamma parta naita dvayitu upatadyate
Naitatvayupapadyate.
naita dvayupadyate.
Okay, it is an awful tongue twister. Carry on anyway.
Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvo parantapa.
Right, try and say again. Tyaktvatishta.
Tyaktvishtishta.
Right. There's one thing that came out as pure French when you said parta. 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 That's it, yes. You see. Okay, thank you, Lucy. That was good. Just do say it once more, just to persuade me. I know you could do it. Parta.
Parta.
That's the, yeah. Did you recognize the first time it came out as French? Parta. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're round to you, Madeleine. You're still muted, Madeleine.
Sorry.
Here we are. There we are.
Klebiam ma smagamaha parta netatvayupat papadyate kshudram hridaya daur balyam tyaktvo tishtha parantapa.
Okay, that was very nice.
Thank
I
you.
noticed one thing, quite interestingly. This first I came out more as an A, natat, but natat. In Hindi, with more an A sound. But remember, in Sanskrit, it has to be distinctly I, natat.
And I want to ask you about
Please.
klebium. Is it klebium or kleibium?
Kleibium.
Kleibium.
No, because the adjective form is liba, and it makes the vridhi from the E to I, so kleibium.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
and when Mandira comes to pronounce it, Mandira is going to have an effort, you see, not to say kleibium, which would be the Hindi way, but kleibium, which is the Sanskrit way.
Okay. I want to ask you something in my readings. I mean, not in this text.
But please, yes.
I saw the word etat in Sanskrit, or other words that start with an E in English, etat. In transliteration, some text write it as AI instead of E in English. And I'm confused. Is it because it's the beginning of the word? For example, etat, for example, is
etat here, meaning this.
I see it. It's written in transliteration AIT. Is it correct?
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not correct at all. That may be, if you're looking at a carefully done academic transliteration, it will
Yes.
exactly follow the Devanagari. So if it's the A in the Devanagari, like this letter A, be written
Yeah.
as the letter
Yes.
E. Whereas
Yes.
if it's an A, as in Naitat, here, Naitat, the A,
Yeah.
then
You
it will
have
be
two
written as
strokes.
the
Yeah.
AI. So it may sometimes you get people who are doing a transliteration, not in an academic way, but just trying to, loosely represent the sounds in English.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
But don't follow that. I mean, here we're
Yes.
doing the very careful so etat we would
Yes.
write in Roman script. It was
Yes.
with the letter E, etat.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But if you can, if by any chance you're able to show me an example of this, I'd be able to confirm what I said. But it sounds to me like a bit of just non-academic transliteration.
Okay. Thank you.
If you are able to send a
Yes.
sample to me, I'd be interested to see.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Madeleine. Thanks.
Thank
So we're around to Anne. Your turn.
Try. Klaibyam ma shmaghama parta naitat vyayu papadyate kshudram hridaya darbalyam tvyakto tishta parantapa.
Okay, mostly pretty good, but just can you naitat vyayu
Naitat upapadyate.
Right.
Naitat upapadyate.
Naitatvayu papadyate. Now, pronounce that double y quite strongly. Naitatvayu papadyate.
Naitat papadyate.
Okay, rather naitvayu papadyate. Naitatvayu papadyate. Okay, that came out much better. Very good. Remember, and also keep that short. Upa. Naitatvayu papadyate. Remember, the division of the words is tvayi upapadyate to tvayu papadyate. Okay, thank you, Anne. We're round to you again, Shriyanamala.
Klaibyam masmah gamah partha naitatvai upapadyate. Shudram hrdaya balayam tyakvotishta parantapa.
Okay, very good. But to say tyaktvotishta.
Tyaktovishta.
Right. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Shriyanamala.
Thank you, sir.
Who's next? Charlene, you're next.
Labiam masma gamaha parta naitatve yupapadyate kshudram hirdaya darbalyam tyaktvotishta parantapa.
Okay, that came out very nicely, but this came out something like tve. Remember, tvayu papadyate. Tvayu papadyate.
Naitatve yupapadyate.
Okay, it's tending to come out as an A, as if it were in English A. It's the short but distinctly tvayu papadyate.
Naitatve yupapadyate.
That's very good. Yeah, excellent, Charlene. Thank you. Kath, round to you.
Klaibyam asmagamah partha naitatvayu papadyate Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvotishta parantapa.
That was very nice, as always, Kath. And there was one particular thing that you got right, and I want to call attention to it. This word gamma, on its own, if you saw that word in isolation, you'd have the shadow vowel at the end, gamaha. Namo namaha, gamaha. Where, however, and you got this right, Kath, where, however, it's immediately followed by another word, you don't have the shadow vowel. So you correctly said, some of you said gamaha parta, with a pause, but in the recitation of a verse, you wouldn't have the shadow vowel. There's gamaha parta. So can you just, so the others can all hear you doing it right, can you just chant that first line again, Kath?
Klaibyam asmagamah partha naitattvayupapadyate.
Okay. Did you all hear the absence of the shadow vowel there? That was correct. Right, we're round to you, Mandira. So let me give you the Devanagari for you. We aren't getting any sound through now, Mandira. No, sound is completely gone. No.
Can anyone else hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now, but it's very faint.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you, but it's very faint.
Klaibyam masma gamaha partha naitatva na etatvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyakva uttishta parantapa.
I see. You were reading from here, weren't you?
Yes.
Now do it again, but read from the top one, because this one, the bottom one, is with the sandhi vigraha, the taking out of the sandhi. Try it again with sandhi.
Okay. Klaibyam masma gamaha partha naitattvayupapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyakvottishta parantapa. Okay,
very nice. However, one thing, a little bit of Hindi came in there. So instead of tve, which is how you pronounce the aya, as in, for example, Himalaya, you say Himalaya in Hindi, wouldn't you? It came out slightly Hindi-like, tvayu papadyate, in pure sense, tvayu papadyate. Okay. Thank you then, Mandira. We've just got time for us to shoot off for Sanyu and then Chris.
Klaibyam masma gamaha parta naitadvayupatyate shudram hardaya dobalyam tyadvodstita parantapa.
This bit came out slightly Burmese, I think, though. So, say tyaktvotishta. That's it. Excellent. Tyaktvotishta. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Sanyu. And finally, Chris, to round it off.
Klaibyam masma gamaha parta na. No, sorry, I have to start again. I went right. Klaibyam masma gamaha parta naita twayupadpate.
Twayupapadyate.
Twayupapadyate.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
Kushtram
No,
Hidya.
kshudram. It's a ksha. It's a bit. It's the same. Actually, it's the same. Originally, the same phoneme as the Greek ksa. But in Sanskrit, pronounced as a ksha. Kshudram.
Kutram.
Kshudram.
Kutram. Kutram.
So try and put a k immediately followed by a shta, as if it's all one sound. Kshudram. That's better.
Kutram. Hidraya Draubayam Tyaktvo Tishta Parantapa.
Again, this is actually full of tongue twisters here. You can say tyakt. First of all, say it without sandhi. Tyaktva uttishta.
Tyaktva Uttishta.
Tyaktva uttishta.
Tyaktva Uttishta.
Remember, this is a tya from tya. Tyaktva.
Tyaktva Uttishta.
Okay, you've got that right. Now join them together with sandhi. We have the final a and the following u joining into an o. Tyaktvottishta.
Tyaktvottishta.
Okay, that was a lot closer.
Tyaktvottishta. Parantapa.
Okay, very good then. So I'll be leaving you now. Thank you all very much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you again next week. And remember, I'm sure most of you will remember, and in fact Shri Animala reminded me earlier at the end of the Pali session, our clocks go forward on Sunday morning, so next time round we will be on BST, British summertime, with the clocks having gone forward one hour.
Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you then.
Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.